Long lines and high demand, that is the bottom line for testing sites really across the country. And as we look live at our major one here in Las Vegas, run by UNLV, cases fueled by the Omicron variant continue to just skyrocket here where we live. And some of these people waiting for hours to get to the front of the line and find out whether or not they have it.
And as we look at that huge demand from the headlights and taillights there, we need to tell you something. You've got to remember this as you go into the next several days. The testing site you see on the left is moving. To give us more details on that, Lauren Clark joins us live on the ground at UNLV's drive-through site. Lauren, the demand is huge.
Reed, it absolutely is. I mean, just take a look at this line right over here. This isn't even half of it. It actually wraps past this street and into the next one. In fact, this high demand is actually prompting the reopening of the site to a different location where they can do 1,200 tests a day.
A sign outside Vesper Specialty Pharmacy on Eastern is plastered to the door. You can't miss the bright red color and flashy message. Sold out. No COVID take-home tests are here.
The demands have been very high.
It's a clear message for a reason, says Tech William Godoy. From the long lines in the morning to the constant.
Our phones have been going nonstop.
Persistent phone calls.
So all the phone calls that we've received this morning, they've all been for the COVID-19 take-home test.
As customers scramble to get their hands on a test.
In a matter of a couple hours, we were sold out with our first shipments.
Now only empty shelves and empty boxes remain. It's not just Vesper either. As testing sites across Las Vegas are seeing a soaring demand. On Monday, a spokesperson says the UNLV site did more than 1,600 tests. The site's normal capacity, 500. Data shows the dramatic spike of cases fueled, say researchers, by the spread of the Omicron variant.
It's taken over as the dominant strain in Southern Nevada. It's 80-something% of our cases. It'll probably be 100% very soon.
Epidemiologist Dr. Brian Labus says we likely won't know the full impact of Omicron's punch for a few more weeks.
It takes time for people to get infected, for them to show up on our stats, and for us to be able to analyze that and say, here's what it really means.
While Omicron is more contagious, he says it appears less severe. Still,
just because it's better doesn't mean this is a mild disease. It hasn't become the common cold.
And back out here live, this testing set that you're looking at right now is actually going to be shutting down for one night on Thursday and then reopening at a larger site, Sandboy Stadium on East Russell Road, Sunday at 5:30. And again, that's just to accommodate this increasing demand. And it's also really important to note that there are multiple testing sites across the valley that are available to you. We have a link to that on our website right now if you want that information. That's news3lv.com.
First at 11, you are looking at a sign of our times. Long lines at Las Vegas COVID testing locations. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Jim Snyder.
I'm Reed Cowan in for Marie Morterra tonight. Once again, the UNLV site seeing the longest waits. They're reaching capacity tonight for a third night in a row. And now other sites are filling up. Brett Forrest is live in the studio. Brett, as you've learned, this is partly due to some staffing issues, but maybe some things being done to open up availability?
Yeah, Jim Reed, that's right. There are a lot of moving parts and changes to those testing sites announced today. Some sites expanding their hours while UNLV is moving to a completely new location. All of this as long lines persist with a very limited staff to conduct the tests.
We were here yesterday. We were waiting for 4 hours. When we get to the end, it was no more space.
Different night, same story. People waiting hours on end to get a COVID test at the UNLV testing site, with long waits at other testing locations too.
Today was annoying and confusing. In the past, I haven't experienced these problems.
National Guard helping conduct testing, stressing their staffing is limited.
What the Southern Nevada Health District, what the state of Nevada, what the governor wants from us, that's what we provide. And so we don't necessarily determine our staffing numbers.
With some isolating due to COVID, just 10 National Guard soldiers administering over 1,500 tests a day this week at the UNLV Paradise campus.
I can go buy all the cones we need or get the agreements in place with jurisdictions and properties. And that's the easy part, right? It's getting the people to go run the sites. They're tired.
Trying to secure more help on the ground, a request put in Tuesday morning for more National Guard and staff, a decision that comes down to the state with no word yet on their response. In the meantime, the Health District and Clark County Fire hoping to alleviate demand and wait times, expanding hours and days at CSN locations, plus shutting down the UNLV site this Thursday, reopening Sunday at Boyd Stadium. Starting with 300 vaccines and 1,200 tests a day, hoping to expand those numbers later on.
I don't think anyone really expected it to be this in demand, but we'll catch up. We caught up last year. We'll catch up again.
And again, the main message they wanted to get out tonight is that there are other testing locations. You don't have to wait for hours at UNLV. You can schedule ahead of time at another site or go through local and private pharmacies as well. But if you do get tested elsewhere, they ask that you cancel your other appointment so that someone else can get it. Reporting live in studio, I'm Brett Forrest, News 3.
All right, Brett, thank you so much. And, as Brett just mentioned, changes are coming to that UNLV mass testing site. The university says that they're going to move their drive-through site to a bigger venue. They'll do that tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow will be the last night for you to use that drive-through site on campus. Starting Sunday, you're going to have to go over to Sam Boyd Stadium in the parking lot near Russell and Broadbent Boulevard. Hours will stay the same, 5:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m.
Also happening tomorrow, another option for you. Circa will begin its weekly vaccine clinics. The resort will offer the Pfizer and Moderna versions of the vaccine to their workers and also the general public. First, second, and booster doses all available. If you need to get a flu vaccine, that will be there as well. The clinic will be on the 3rd floor of the resort from 1 until 3 p.m., and those will continue through the end of January. There are multiple options when it comes to getting vaccinated against COVID-19 and tested, as we've been talking about. You can find more information about all of it, how to make those appointments Brett was talking about, finding a testing location closest to you. It's all on our website, news3lv.com. As COVID numbers increase across the valley, Clark County students are getting ready to head back to the classroom in hours tomorrow morning. News 3's Education Project reporter Tiffany Lane has an update on new efforts to try to slow down the spread of this Omicron variant that were just sent out by the district this evening. Steps some say are still not enough and not efficient enough with how quickly this variant is spreading.
Some parents and staff reached out to me saying they've been waiting for some direction from the district for safety in the classroom as we see the quick spread of the Omicron variant. Well, Tuesday night, they received some of that direction, and they're not sure if it's enough.
Well, we're going to do this. Well, may or may not. We're going to social distancing if it's possible. And if it's not possible, it's highly recommended.
Here's the email sent to CCSD employees and parents at 6 p.m. An email teacher and parent Leonard Lyther says doesn't provide enough guidance. The email saying quarantine decisions are made on a case-by-case basis, including mask use, vaccine status, and positive lab results in the last 90 days. Any student within 3 feet or less of a person who tests positive for COVID-19, regardless of mask use, will be quarantined. Any student between 3 to 6 feet of a person who tests positive may or may not be quarantined, depending on vaccine status and other criteria. If staff are less than 6 feet from a person who tests positive for COVID-19, staff may or may not be quarantined. Lyther saying more can be done.
And if it's not possible when it's highly recommendable, they should at least follow the state laws of wearing a face mask. Well, isn't that a given? We should follow state laws anyway. I feel it's very trickery wording that they're trying to pull a fast one on parents, and hopefully parents can see that they should be doing a better job of this.
As far as timelines, anyone who tests positive for COVID must isolate for 5 days regardless of symptoms. Employees may work from home if they can, or they can use accrued leave. Students and staff can return on day 6 if they don't have symptoms. As far as social distancing guidelines,
highly recommended does not mean mandatory. It just means please try to space your students out. But again, they're not saying do this. They're saying, may or may not, highly recommended, please try this.
Parents, students, staff, do you believe that the district is doing enough to keep everyone safe in the classroom? Reach out to me so I can contact those in charge. School tips at news3lv.com or 702-805-0489.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates.